and then it'll work. And then see that green button in the top left hand corner? Press that one. Yep. That'll record each of our angles separately now. All right, we're up. What it do, boo boo? We are live and ready to give you guys another amazing AI lounge. But before we do that, what's up? Oh yeah, Instagram would be like that. We can't help that. It's just because it's long. It's just because it's vertical. We'll be all right. If you're on Instagram, slide over to YouTube.
Should we not go live on Instagram right now?
It's all right. No, it's okay.
All right, we're just gonna go rough.
Perfectionism. Don't worry about it.
All right.
It's up. That's all that matters.
Half of my face.
That's okay.
Half of Cam.
You get if you don't want to go to YouTube, then you only get half. So, JC, do you want to play the jingle?
Oh yeah,
that Brian made.
I didn't. AI did.
Or AI did. Excuse me. Let me see if it plays.
Is it playing?
I don't know.
I feel like it ain't playing, JC. You're not playing through this. I know you're playing it. I know you can hear it through the speakers, but you don't have it set as a source. That's what we get for letting Gen Z work the 1 and 2s, you know? It should have played. Technical difficulties. So one of the ideas we have here is why don't we just use AI to generate a new opening jingle for us every single time, every single episode. So I haven't even actually heard this yet. The prompt for this was an AI. It was an Bay Area Hi-Fi musical intro for a podcast, a live radio show called the AI Lounge for Business Builders. I set that up and then I had to send the MP3 to the control room over there. And apparently that part was too hard. All right. We could get AI to make the music, but to get the human to play the music is where we're struggling right now. And I'm sure if we had an agent running this, probably would have worked. We are bogged down by human inefficiencies and human gaps in their knowledge on how the software works for live streaming. I think we're using a tool that isn't really always what we have used in the past for live streaming events. Is this restream there?
We're in the mix right now.
Is it playing?
Turn it up.
Tap in.
Okay.
Let's go. Welcome to the AI Lounge. For the hustlers making moves right now. Business builders stand up, get loud. Bay Rays game, let's say.
Oh yeah, it's playing. See, we did it all. There's this delay. Say you're sorry.
Mute that, 'cause it'll now be like picked up here. Say I'm sorry.
Say you're sorry to the humans.
Talk to you like I talk to my AI.
There you go.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess that worked. We did work. Anyway, picking up from our last show, we built a user submission form. I'm not actually. Is it playing?
Wait, pause. I heard it too. I had it on here.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah. So we have some user questions that have come through. If you have questions for us, go ahead and you can go to scallywag.fm and drop some questions in, and we will answer them for you. I've got a few on deck right now. I'm actually even deploying some changes to that site even as we talk. I can kind of maybe show some of that behind the scenes magic as we go. I think, as I know we're going live and people are probably starting to slowly tune in. How do we, real quick, we don't see the chat here.
No, I forgot to put the monitor up, but I can put it up real quick.
Okay.
As you're talking. So why don't you show the changes you're making right now? And while you're doing that.
Sure. Go ahead, JC. Go ahead and toggle over to my my screen. There we go. So this is Scallywag FM that we put together last time. We ended the stream just before I got it working on the domain. Very easy to do. I went to Claude and I said, open up GoDaddy and make this go live through the domain that I have, Skylog FM. I went in, I logged in once it opened the browser for me, and then just had it set everything up, and it took me about 3 minutes to go live with it. And then I've just been making a couple of small changes here this week, or sorry, actually just this morning, to make this easier for us to use. So kind of thought it'd be kind of a fun little thing to show as a tool here, how we can vibe code and create things for ourselves. So what I have here, you submit a question on the front end, it will go into the back end here. It shows up. I have the ability to set things to be on deck or not on deck. So add to the show. I have a way to add notes to a question if I want to. And we'll go ahead and add that one back to the show. And that will allow us to kind of manage these things. And one of the things I was just deploying right now is the ability to, we're going to deploy it now and see if this goes. Just rearrange and drag the questions around. That way we can maybe kind of go through these in the right order.
Brian said, is anyone going to tell him that the song has been playing all along?
Oh, thanks, Jones.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, bud. Yeah. So, since he's the one commenting here, I think maybe we should start off with his question. So, this is a little bit of a warm up. If you guys have been following along on, JC, on this scene, make sure you got Cam up here too, dude. I don't want to make it my show. He's here. I know you got to do some work. Gen Z's got to do something over there. They create a whole new scene. Just add it. I thought we had a scene for it set up. All right. Well, anyways, so Brian Jones is asking here, on a scale of 10 to 10, how bad did Dario bungle the deal with the U.S. government? Do you think Anthropic can ever recover? So what happened this last week is been very interesting. The Department of War was using Anthropic's Claude Code and all of that, and using it for military purposes, which they've been doing. There were some questions that came up about like how was Claude used in Venezuela. Yeah, and that raised some other issues here where they kind of felt like the Department of War doesn't want to be told how to use their products. The analogy that's used in interviews was like, hey, you buy a plane from us, like, Boeing doesn't tell you how to use the plane. Yeah, to tell us like where we can take our stuff. Right.
No, personally, I'm like, I think it was Anthropic obviously, like, they took a stance on what they believed ethically they'd like their stuff used for.
Well, we can be very specific on the two things. There was two line items that they did, right? And I'm just speaking off the top of my head. I don't have the notes in front of me here, but it was autonomous weapon use, and surveillance of U.S. citizens, or just, I think maybe it was just mass surveillance of stuff. Yeah, which, if you've been in the AI space for a while, this is where I think a lot of people were losing sleep over. And my stance on it is like, we use these tools every single day, and it's not like they want less guardrails. The U.S. government wants less guardrails. I believe they have their own model. I think it's something that they mentioned, that they have their own trained model, slightly different, but like,
we have Gen AI.
Yeah,
there's Gen AI that the Department of War uses, and I feel like it's gone back and forth of what model it uses. Like at one point, like some stuff it uses Claude or did use Claude. I've heard Grok is kind of the main. Someone was telling me that they use the main goes through like Yahoo or something. Like, I'm not very
Yahoo.
Exactly. I was confused.
I think that makes sense.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't use it a lot personally, like, but because I'm on my way out. But like, I know, like I know people who do use it and they find it very helpful, but they use it mainly from a from a research aspect, right?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of like one of the main differences I was talking with someone today about is like when we started using ChatGPT, it was very much like give me information, give me PDFs or help me, dissect this stuff. Whereas like we're now in an age where I'm like,
Do something for me. Yeah.
go, like we did it. I did it this morning. I literally was like, send an email to Brian with the link for him to add his socials and the YouTube link because I know he wants it. It was like, cool, send.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, build a drip campaign to tell people about AI Lounge. Like.
Yep.
And then I went and had breakfast with my wife and my daughter.
Yeah.
Like we're now in that age.
Yeah.
And that, personally, I don't think that'll ever happen on a government computer. Like.
Well, it is.
At least not at my level. It
Yeah.
may happen at.
Yeah.
That level.
Sure.
But like
sure.
on a lower level, like.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's maybe not trusting the users because people don't really know how the AI itself works, right? And so there's some questions there, but I would say that like AI is not ready yet to be let loose. It's the it has so many problems and it makes mistakes. We were talking about some of the mistakes earlier. We'll dive into some of those because some of the questions here are about that. The mistakes that AI makes. And yeah, I mean, I would not want Claude right now deciding like who lives or who dies without human, feedback on that, really at all, to be honest. But like, it's not ready to make those decisions because, we've all had experiences where we're using this stuff and like it accidentally, someone on the team had it where it wiped. I'm not gonna name names, but wiped their entire computer.
That shit.
Yeah. So there's just so many things in these models. There's self-preservation tendencies. There's tendencies for deception. It's just so much, and I really don't think that we should be using these things for AI. And the question here is like, did they screw up? Did they bungle this thing? Like, can they ever recover? I mean, OpenAI then came through and scooped up that contract, right? Quick, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, like presented to you or bamboozled.
Yeah. I mean, so they actually came. I think I saw an interview with Sam Altman where he was saying there's just a blur, but he was like, I actually, the differences that we have and problems we have with Anthropic because they're both competitors, Anthropic and ChatGPT, right? Sorry, OpenAI. So OpenAI has ChatGPT, Anthropic has Claude, and they're competitors. So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said that like, with all the problems that I have with Anthropic, I do feel like I trust them. And I do stand behind their decision of like how this stuff should be used and shouldn't be used. The issues that they came back with were saying that like they agreed with all, like the Department of Defense apparently had agreed with all of the stuff that, kind of the Anthropic wanted in the contract, except they also said, unless the government deems fit to do it or whatever, like we can decide. And it was like, yeah, we agree that we should do this, but unless we decide that we need to. And they were like, that you didn't really concede to any of our terms of service here. So, yeah, I mean, it's a completely different ball game here. And I think the difference with like Anthropic, Claude is like from like a fighter plane is like, the fighter plane is now in the hands of the Pentagon or whoever's, the US military. They're the ones now controlling that thing. Versus this is stuff that's still running. Like, who's going to take the backlash if it goes wrong? Is it going to be the government or is it going to be like, did you use it the wrong way or did Claude mess up? Because Claude makes mistakes right now. Yeah. Right. So I mean, I really, then can they recover? Can Anthropic recover from this whole thing? Because I just like screwed this whole thing up. They're now listed, I saw, as a supply chain risk, right? Which is retribution for them not giving in to the Department of War, which that's kind of crazy, and I've seen that like a bunch of people in the military who were using their tools were like really thankful for it. Claude right now is what a lot of us are using in the industry to build stuff and work with it, and it's like taking off like crazy. Not a lot of people are using like Codex and others. Like there's still, I still use it from time to time. That's ChatGPT's version of, they just call it Codex. Not, instead of Claude, just calls it Claude.
So I was talking to Ned about this the other day because I know like Codex came out and we talked about it briefly for like 3 seconds because you were like, oh, did you use it yet? And I'm like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
could you touch briefly on like why, at least at that moment, it was such a big thing, and then like honestly, how it got overshadowed so fast, in my opinion, by like what Claude can do.
Yeah. So Codex is like their way, and this has been around for a while. It's their way to like work inside the terminal at first, right? It was like, so you would do that. And it was actually first available as a cloud thing. So it was really cool when it came out. Like I could, from ChatGPT, the app, I can type into Codex. Like there's like a tab instead of chat, it was Codex. You go there, it's connected to a code repository online, my GitHub, and I would say like find issues here. And at the time, I was going round and round and round with issues with a project I was working on that I couldn't solve for like 2 weeks. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Codex ran, and it runs in the cloud. It doesn't have access to my computer. It ran in the cloud, and then actually found and solved that problem, which was kind of crazy. I was like, damn, okay. Yeah, and it was a different model that was running, a different like a flavor where the Claude was not able to like find that issue, but Codex and ChatGPT really kind of was, and that's kind of evolved over time. So now you can actually get it in the browser. It's inside of your CLI, which is the command line interface, and then they've now come out with a native app, which is what I use because we've had so many problems with running inside of the terminal. Like literally just like resource issues with our computers that like literally it's like you're out of RAM, or like you can't keep up because these are such poorly coded tools that we're using. Like sometimes you're just fighting the applications and tools. And so using something that's native is much more efficient. But it's all about the models and like these models get tuned. So they have like a model called it's 5.3 inside of Codex, try to be 5.3 Codex. It was like tuned for Codex to work that way and like tuned for using I think I'm saying this right because I've got to really look a little bit deeper into it of what they've done. But yeah, essentially it's very similar to Claude. I found that the first versions, like you give it a task, and the way like agents work is you give it a task, it goes off and does it, comes back when it's done and tells you like I did it. The Codex version really needed a lot more like I kept having to nudge it like, okay, continue. Where Claude would just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
And when this latest version of Claude came out, which everybody's like, now we're in this like new era of stuff. It was like the first time we weren't getting stuck with things. And so there is also this sentiment, because I asked our group chat that we have, we've got a bunch of vibe coders and stuff that are in there and gaining their proficiencies right now inside of, using these tools. And I was like, and you're in there as well. And it's like, for example, OpenClaw came out and I was like, why are like, no one's installed this here? Or has anyone installed it?
Yeah.
Why?
Like took over the internet and it's like,
And why or why not? And ask us questions. And a lot of the answers came back, which is like, well, I have a system I trust right now. I don't really like, I'm getting the results that I want. There's not really a need for me to like switch to something else. And so I do think that some people just had like inherent stuff built around their system in Claude that they felt better with. And I feel like Claude is also trying to go, oh, sorry, screaming to sleep there. I feel like Claude is trying to address more like the common people using agents versus ChatGPT is still not there with everyday people using agents. So even though it can kind of do a lot of the stuff that Claude can do, it just feels more approachable.
Yeah. My thing, like, I like the whole human in the loop thing. It gets a little, I'll say sometimes I'm like, oh, like, why do I have to give you permission again? Like, can't I just give you like permission to run this task how you see fit and just like get it done, because it'll like ask you like, oh, is it cool if I do this? And it's like, yes. Is it okay if I do this? Yes. But I inherently, I don't know how comfortable I would be just like this morning I was talking about like the school community that we have and how like there's no technical native way to automate the posting of the weekly challenges that we do because and we see why they do it, right? Because they want you to be like actively posting it in there. But like I've already done all the legwork. It's literally just getting it onto the platform. And so I built the script to have Claude do it autonomously. Like now, it runs the cron on the computer and then like whatever, right? And
cron is for
chronological.
Yeah, I mean it's a time-based thing. So like execute this at Wednesday at 3 p.m. is a cron that runs and waits till that time.
But your computer has to be on. I learned that
something has to be on. If it can run from your computer, yes, your computer has to be on. If it's, you can have a server.
I got to figure that out. That's my next move.
Yeah, then you don't always have to have a computer turned on.
And so like, but like while I was having that conversation, I was like, I'm cool with it doing that, right? But like, how cool would I be with it just like responding to things on like my behalf. I keep seeing these Silicon Valley, the show,
Yeah.
like clips. I
Mhm.
tried watching it on Apple, but it's like $3, and I like refuse to pay for anything, even though people keep like,
Yeah.
you got to watch this now,
Yeah, yeah.
especially now that we're doing these talks. They're like,
Oh,
you got to watch this, and so
yeah.
but I saw like that funny thing where like, is it
Guilfoyle.
Guilfoyle?
Yeah.
And it's like he's at the coffee machine, and the guy's like messaging, and he was like,
Yeah.
he's like, I've been talking to you all day, and he's like, was it me?
Yeah. Yeah. And at one point they're like, our AI is going to talk to your AI. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to like, oh no. It's crazy because actually I've watched that show probably twice all the way through. I love it. It's really funny. Perfect parody for what it's like being in Silicon Valley. Like I've been to a lot of the parties that they make fun of here and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's actually like, yeah, it's hilarious. And I thought all the AI stuff, which is kind of funny, is I thought it was all stupid. Like it just felt like so far off in our future. Like we're never going to get to
You're like,
that.
"There's
And now
no
here
way."
I am using AI every single day. And turns out like they were correct on a lot of their assumptions on things. So anyways, to wrap up that, I think question here about can Anthropic recover? I think yes, because I think a lot of people aren't using open AIs like Codex or the other thing. Everyone right now, there's the race about code because everything can be done from code. Like your agent is writing a script or doing a thing with code to be able to execute a task. So whatever can be done, whatever's the best with code is going to win currently right now. So I think that you know, that helps. I'm seeing here that we've got some people up here. Someone's posting in chat, Claude dangerously skip permissions. Yes. That is dangerous is in the chat. And that is how you can get it to go forward without needing to click yes all the time.
Why have you guys never told me this?
Because
I know it's dangerous.
you will wipe your computer.
Oh shit.
So
does that give it permission across whatever it does next
it doesn't ever ask you for anything.
ever again?
Yeah.
Not even. So is there any way to just keep it to that specific like terminal window?
It's only in that terminal window.
That's what I mean.
Only during that session that
That's
you
what I
run it.
mean.
So when
Okay.
you start it, you use this little flag. You read there in the chat, Claude, and you go dash dangerously dash skip dash permissions. You type that in.
But it's once I close that terminal though, then that's it.
yeah, I'll show you how to do it. We're
Yeah,
going live.
show me what's up. Show me we're live.
So,
We're live. We want to put a disclaimer on this. This is not recommended. This is simply a workaround, but you go at it your own peril. I feel like we have to do like the financial disclaimers. Like this is not financial advice.
don't
This is
do this.
this is our opinion.
We are in a closed studio.
Yeah. Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. It's all you do. You hit enter, and you can now see. Why is it not? Oh, I'm covered here. So let me just move my screen here in the center. You can see now it's got the bypass permissions on, so it won't ever come to that point now. Like anything that it runs, it's not gonna.
Oh, so every time you go in this term. Oh, never mind.
This is just a new terminal thing.
Okay.
So I'm just in a folder, right? Like I have terminal open. Let me close this out. You can see. So
Yeah, show me again.
if I do PWD in terminal, it's just your path that you're working from. So I'm inside of users, Brian Burkett, which is me, project Skylab FM. I'm just in that folder.
Yeah.
So I typed Claude. You typically start a session by just typing Claude,
Correct,
right? In
yeah.
here. So just added that flag to it. And now I've started a Claude session with dangerously bypassing permissions. And what I will actually do when I'm using this is like I will go through without that on, and I'll set up like a plan that I want it to do. Of like
then give it.
what you can do is I'll quit out, and what you'll see here. This is a little trick.
I like that idea.
Did I just lose it?
Because it'll even do that when it does the context thing. It'll say, "Hey, I built a plan. Can I clear the context now?"
Yeah. So then what I'll do, I'm just gonna close this out again so you can see. If I close out, you see this like resume, and then this. If I go back up, these are just flags that you add in, so I can resume that same conversation with
Correct.
Oops. Yeah, there we go.
Tyrone said, "We are professionals." Whole studio crash.
Yeah. Why is there Skynet propaganda on the feed now? Yeah. So now I've got this up and running, and it's not going to ask me anything. So I'll just say like, review this.
Oh, Tyrone said you can shift tab to change it back in that session if you want.
Yeah. So what he's talking about here, shift
See,
tab.
I learned so much.
See, I'm moving.
Here.
See that lower left-hand corner there where it's going between, it's down here. So this is like accept edits on, plan mode on, bypass
Correct.
permissions on. So yeah, now it just kicked off an agent to review this whole thing here.
So for the people who are watching, that's not that's not necessarily an agent you built. That's Claude deploying. It's just like its own agent to review it, right?
This is a built-in agent.
Oh, okay.
Feature development, Code Explorer. I want to say maybe this is one that I installed more globally on mine. It does have some of its own. If it has a color, I don't think it's one. It's one I installed a while ago.
So how do you get it? And this actually, this isn't a question that like anybody asked per se, but this is a question I had based off. So like Chad
Mhm.
or Chaz, excuse me,
Mhm.
we were talking. He's like, "Hey, I built out these like 4 agents."
Mhm.
In my mind,
Mhm.
I'm like, why have agents anymore when you have Claude that just like does all this stuff? Can you explain like
Yeah.
the need that there still is to have like your own personal agents that do stuff like this?
Yeah. So the way the agents work, it's all just like plain English under the hood. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's
just
like an encapsulated prompt. So if you're trying, like, we have this thing called a Claude.md file, which I can probably just see what this one is. It should be in here. Do I have it? It's just a
it's
way
like a
to
markdown file. Yeah.
It is a markdown file. I don't actually have one in here, so let me go ahead and start one. So this is, I spun up this project on the last thing. So typically I already have this done. If I do a init, it is now going to create that Claude.md file. But imagine each agent has its own sort of Claude.md file, right?
Like it's on like marching orders.
Yeah. And well, anything. It's like it could set like a personality for it. It could set a tone of voice. It could set a really anything you want. So maybe we'll build an agent specifically for this.
Let's build an agent.
Yeah.
So I would so for you guys that don't know, we have a screen right here. That's what I'm looking at because I'm not over Brian's shoulder.
Yeah.
No, I'm personally like, I feel like that's kind of like my next evolution, right? I've gotten very comfortable with like terminal. I've gotten very comfortable with like figuring out how to make stuff happen under the hood, scheduling things, whatever, right? But I have reached a point where now I'm like, and I built a couple skills, you know, I have a couple workflows, but I'm like, what, you know, I feel like agents would be the most natural next step for me in what I'm doing, but I don't, be honest, I'm not 100% sure how to do it.
So I'm going to show you here. This is in like my main project that I work out of.
Oh, so you can actually put agents
/ agents. And this is now going to show you all the agents that I have.
I'm going to play along.
And a lot of these are set up for very specific features in this very large code base. So I have an agent that's like assigned to a feature, but like you could set up an agent that has like it's your copywriting agent.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Right. And so agents can call each other. And so like I have one that's like, you know, maybe it's got to have my tone of voice or my whatever, right? And then I create an agent for that.
Okay.
Right. And there's really kind of, I would say 3 things that you kind of need to understand with working with AI is one is tools, like how to build tools for agent for these things to use. Skills, right? So you build skills around that, the tools, and then you have agents, and like agents use the skills and the tools, or it's kind of, you can kind of mix it up where a skill invokes agents. And
all right, one more time.
Yeah.
Tools, skills, agents.
Yeah. So like the highest level will be agents, and then we got underneath that is skills, right? And a skill is like think of like a recipe, right?
Okay.
Like I have a skill now for baking cookies, right?
Right.
But like I could have a skill that's a chocolate chip skill recipe, right? It's more specific.
Correct.
Depending on how you want to like map things out, or you have like a baking agent, right? That can, you know, call in certain skills that it has to do, right? And then a tool would be like check the oven temperature would be a tool, right? So it's like it has to do that. So like what I would think about it, maybe even like
that's like, so the tool enables the steps of the skill that is called upon by the agent.
Yeah, the way that I build kind of from the bottom up, even though it's kind of, you think about top down, but like I build like, say I'm building a hammer, right? And now the agent has a hammer, but it's like, okay, cool, I got a hammer. I don't know about, like, when do I use it or whatever. Yeah. So then you create a skill, right? Which is like, here's how to hit the hammer.
Got it. Okay.
And then I build an agent that is good at
telling
using these tools.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, use the hammer for this, get the plan together, do this, right? And so you kind of build this like little bit of a system around it.
That's like, I like that. That's a really good way to explain it.
So, okay. So this here in this one, I've just built a Claude agent. I also realized, I guess what I was going to say back to finishing off that question is I think that Anthropic will be fine, because I think all of us are still going to keep using this and don't give a shit what the government is going to do with their stuff.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
Okay. So I got a Claude.md file. And if we just want to like look at it, I'm going to close this one out. I will, just going to open a new browser here, and I'll have to type. This is just a command.
AJC, can you scroll up on was there anyone in the comments, like anyone else except you and Tyrone talking shit to each other? Oh, there's my wife. What's up, babe? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this created this Claude MD file. This is just an MD file about the project, right? It's got stuff about the project. It tells me where like environment variables are. This, it's all programming stuff. So now let's build an agent. Create an agent, a Claude agent that. Oh, first, what we should do is build a tool that an agent can use. So I was gonna say, can we build an MCP server for this project with a tool that can fetch the list of questions from the backend? So we'll see how quickly this goes. This usually doesn't take too long. And maybe this is kind of like a little project that we work on while this is running.
Yeah. What's all that red stuff? Sorry, what's all the red stuff above all this again? Like all that? What's all that?
This is the Claude.md file that was written, and it's just syntax highlighting. So it's just highlighting. The red doesn't mean an error or anything. It's just like how it's.
Yeah. That's just like how it's categorized.
Yeah.
So is that like, something you built prior?
No, I just take /init. When you're in a new project, if you do /init, it'll read through everything that's in there, and then it creates that markdown file for you based off of the context of that.
Of the folder that
of the folder that I'm in.
No shit.
Yeah. So every time you start a project, you do.
I'm just like mad at you right now.
I can't teach you everything.
Why did you not teach me everything overnight?
I know. Well, I mean, it's all like the stuff that you discover. I think you get into these things, you start messing around, and it's like, oh, well, how do I get it to do the thing that I want it to do?
Right. I'm gonna do it right now. Init.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Cool.
See, guys, like, look, like that's why you have to. It's not two people who know everything about like I literally started this like a month ago, and I'm like learning from Brian and Tyrone and the other Brian and JC and like the whole crew like inside of our chat, trying to like use this for the business every day. Like, like I haven't created a program or anything yet. Like I'm literally just like, how can I use this to like make my customers' lives better, to make my contractors and employee lives better, to make my life easy, better. Like, so that's why you guys really want to tune into this, because we're being very practical about this, and I'm asking questions from a practical point of view, because Brian is really good at like dropping it down to where it's really easily digestible.
I hope so. I try.
I think it is. I'm a little bit of like, I've been in, I guess I'm a little bit techie. So it's easy, but in a general sense, the way you've explained things, I've explained it to people, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. So real quick here on the side, we could kind of step through this. So it shifted itself into plan mode here. It put together this plan. We need an MCP, and we scroll down so you can kind of see this.
So try and put it in the middle of your screen.
Sure, I could do that.
There you go.
Let's not have my email up.
I closed all that shit before we started.
Yeah, let me go ahead and exit out of that. Quit. Okay, so I put together this plan here. So I need to create an MCP server so Claude Code or other MCP clients can fetch submitted questions directly from the SQLite database. This gives AI tools direct read access to the questions without going through the web UI, right? So it just put together this approach.
Shout out to the 12 people who are watching right now, guys.
Oh yeah, tell your friends.
Tell your homies. Tell your friends.
Build an agent so that your agent tells your friends. Okay, cool. So now it's shifted over into this mode, and this is where we'll see if this actually starts prompting me for stuff, because I have it on auto accept.
Let's get spicy.
Yeah, I can shift it over to that mode, like I was telling you.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely woken up to my computer crashing, but it wasn't. I was running agents overnight, but it was because my computer ran out of memory, and like,
like
I've never
you sent
done
that
before.
picture, and you were like, guys,
I can't respond.
You were like, guys, help! I can't even text you right now from my computer.
Yeah, totally. Because I had a bunch of agents running in the background. They were all actually doing stuff, like using all the RAM.
That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
I was telling so I was talking to my buddy Billy today, and I was he's doing a lot of things with like Microsoft BI, Power BI, and all these things. And I said, man, you got to get on the cloud with me. Like, and he's data analyst. He's literally the main data analyst for our company. And I'm like, the fact that you're like, you could do this, bro.
Yeah.
And so I was like showing him all, and he was just like, bro, like,
yeah. So I just had to like approve a step there.
Okay.
Right. And it's going through that. So what I could choose to do right now is I could just stop what it's doing and then re-engage with the and restart the chat up. Which maybe we'll do that right now. We can run this in dangerous mode. So I can probably just go. No.
Does your Claude ever like disconnect? Does your Claude like disconnect like often?
No.
I feel like it's because I use it on multiple computers that it like kicks me off sometimes.
Like you get logged out.
So like yeah, look. So I have to log back in. But it's because I have my Mac Studio at home running.
Maybe it could be. Okay, so I've restarted. I had to restart anyways, actually, for it to pick up the MCP server. Although there's not necessarily. I didn't actually need. I could actually
irritating.
You can actually reconnect straight from here. If you type /MCP, it'll show you the servers that you're connected. Yeah. Let's just see. I'll show you like real quick. If I go MCP, you can see here I'm connected to my Gmail, which I've auth. Those are just global things, and then I am connected to a few other things and my Scallywag. Interesting. I'm connected at this level for this one.
Can you explain what an MCP is real quick?
An MCP is called Model Context Protocol. It is the protocol that everyone's kind of leaned into now. It was actually developed by Anthropic to be the way that AI interacts with with everything,
with the software. And
yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
And so typically that's like an API.
Correct.
Right. So in the last software development, you have APIs talk to each other. MCP is now the protocol for that, and a lot of times it's just like wrapper around an API.
Yeah,
but what it
usually needs an API for the MCP.
Yes. So what's actually happening under the hood? And I'm just going to go ahead and say, oh, okay, go ahead. It created. Sorry, the reason I was questioning my Scallywag MCP server is because I have a much bigger project. It's a crazier MCP server called Scallywag, and then this is a separate project that I just called it that. So that's fine. Cool. It pulled back a question that I don't actually have on here, which is cool. Hi, I love burgers. That's JC's test. So perfectly. That seems like a
that boy love burgers.
Oh. Let me ask actually, because is that pulling from the live server or the local server? So I have a local server here running that's that you build on, right?
Yeah.
And deploy live. So and I just autocompleted. Said, can we make it pull from the live database instead? So what I'm doing here is I'm setting up a tool for an agent to use, right? And then we can build a quick agent for that. And while that's running, cool. So that's off to the side here. I'm going to close some things down. Close that down. I should have closed all of this out before we got started, but it is okay.
So say I'm like in a session.
Mm-hmm.
Can I then run that whole like dangerously thing, or do you have to start the session?
You have to start over with that flag as part of it. You can't just shift into it.
Got it.
It's no, yeah.
But you can shift out of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Smart mother.
Well, you don't want it to be able to. Let's see here. Sorry, I was just reading this. It's actually now it's going to be connecting up to the live database. So we'll see.
So live database is the server you guys are.
Servers that's up and running. Yeah. So the live one. So if anyone's asking questions here, we could basically say like, so it looked like it's tested right that it works. The MCP now queries. Okay. Try calling the tool again and make sure that it works.
That's another. Well, actually, before I ask that, so like to play along with you at the same time. So I opened up my main project folder and then I did it like the init thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it said was no root claude.md exists yet. I have everything I need. Let me create it.
Okay.
So what is it doing?
It's creating your claude.md file.
Which means it's saying like, here's all the things in this folder.
Yeah. So claude.md, it get like anytime that you're chatting with it, it sits above the chat message. It's like a system. So there's like a system prompt that Anthropic has. And it's all just plain text. It's English. You don't have access to it. You can't see it. You can't modify it. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. Like you are a helpful AI coding agent and all this kind of stuff that's in there. Right. And then you then have claude.md, which is now your prompt, right? That's your kind of system prompt.
Yeah.
And so that gets put into right before every message that goes through. So it's like kind of really like rules or like whatever it is that you want to have in there.
Yeah.
One way that we test to make sure that it's like pulling in your claude.md file is we'll say like, for example, when I was working in the city, I would say
I
like
can see right
call
here.
me.
This file provides
Hmm.
guidance to Claude Code
Mhm.
when working with code in this repository.
Is that a better explanation? Probably. AI is way better explaining things.
Says this is a multi-project workspace for forward learning group, not a single code base. Each numbered directory is a separate Git repo with its own Claude.md.
Oh yeah. So then, yeah, inside of each of those projects, you can have your own Cloud. So if you're operating that way, right, then each one of those projects should have their own Cloud MD.
Okay.
And then if you should really be starting like that session from that folder rather than your high level folder.
So good.
Yeah.
I've realized that. I realized that today
Okay.
because, and I say that because when I was doing stuff with Billy earlier,
Mhm.
I've been starting everything at project level.
Yeah.
And what I was, but I was like,
Projects level or like
no, like the major folder level.
Right,
I have
okay.
everything. I have a folder called projects where
Yeah,
everything else
right,
goes into, right?
right.
And I did that because I was actually like, I was like teaching him, right? I was
Mhm.
like, hey, like this is the big folder, but you should really be starting it at a smaller folder level. But I want to like show you like whatever. But even like as it was trying to do something, I could tell that it was having to read too much information because it was trying to like
Yeah.
get context from the larger folder. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's like if like say you have an application that's about like user authentication and stuff, like it's gonna try to it does a search over the code base and it might be pulling in stuff from the wrong projects and it can
Correct.
it can get lost in the project that it's working on. So cool. This is looking like so we're getting some errors here, which is totally fine. The nested quoting is breaking, double quotes, so it's just going to fix itself here. And this is kind of like a bit of a self-healing loop, is that AI can actually, if you get this stuff set up right, it can see the issues that it's having, and then it can come back and fix those for you.
Okay. So this now says the root projects directory isn't a Git repo. The Git repo are in the subdirectories.
Yeah.
Since Claude.md is at the root level, it's not inside any repo.
Mhm.
Where would you like me to commit to? Initialize a new Git repo at projects, move it into Claude master file, leave it as is. Claude code picks it up from the working directory regardless of Git.
I don't think that you need to. Well, are you? I don't know what your workflow or your intended workflow is. Like, are you trying to get your projects to sync up? Because each one of those will be saved in a Git repo. That's down
So
there.
here's how my stuff's set up right here.
Yeah.
So here's like this is the main folder,
Mhm.
and then this is kind of like where most things are like at, and then these are like some specific areas like that go in there.
I don't think you need to commit this unless you're trying to get that like synced up across like on both your machines. You know,
I do.
But then I would say like Apple like does a pretty good job of like syncing up your environments if you have like if those are living in the cloud,
Mhm.
Apple Cloud or not. Which you could initialize a new repo. It's fine.
Boop.
Yeah. Cool. Looks like this worked. So yeah, so now it fetched down the questions here. So these are all the questions in the back end, right? So it was able to get a question for that, right? So it says that works, 7 questions, blah, blah. Oh, we got another little error. It's going to see what's going on here. But now, because I have this MCP server set up,
Mhm.
I could deploy this to any AI agent,
Mhm.
right? You could connect this into your Claude desktop app. You could connect this into ChatGPT. Could access this, and so this MCPs are ways for other agents to like now use these tools that I've created. So I've created a very, very simple tool. Okay, let me just do this real quick. It's just asking me to restart. And this is the other thing. If you do /MCP inside of this, you can just go to this, and I'm just reconnecting that server. I'm now reconnected. Okay, go ahead. And it should now be up and running. So now that you have an MCP server, I can keep adding a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
Right. So now what maybe I want to do is let's set up an agent, or let's set up a skill for asking for getting the latest questions, right? So instead of me constantly having to say, get me the latest questions, you can just basically put this into a skill.
Yeah.
So let's say create a skill to fetch all of the questions from the live site. Which this would enable me, you know, I could be anywhere, and I could say, hey, are there any new questions from the
Yeah.
live thing? And it would, you'd want to invoke this skill or have it do it. So what it's doing now is its Claude Code Guide is actually a skill. This is an agent called you can see it here. It's running. And that agent, I'll put this in the middle as well because I know that looks weird on Insta. It's now looking at the Claude documentation to figure out how to build a skill, right?
Okay.
So this is like, I think, a really cool pattern that people are doing now with AI to like, give it access to documentation and like that kind of a thing. So I don't have any skills in this directory already. So it's not adding to a skills folder. It just actually went through and created a new skills folder and a new skill called fetch questions. So if I just run /fetch, should be in here. I think maybe sometimes I have to go to restart Claude, which, yeah, I think I do have to restart Claude, which I can do. And I will go ahead and, yep, it's the same ID there. So I can go back in, restart. Let's actually just try it. So if I go fetch question. So this is now a command here, right? So /fetch question, /fetch questions. So now I have a skill, right? And it just ran, boom, it got all the questions back, right? So now that's a skill. Now let's turn that into an agent. And let's maybe do like, find the questions that are tagged as on deck, do some research about or answer those questions and put them in the notes and do research if you need to.
Okay.
Right. So that could be something that we could do here. Right. So let's say, can you create, let's just do my voice again. Can you create an agent that uses this skill to find the latest questions that are tagged as on deck to be part of the show, and then add a response to the notes to answer the question. And if anything needs to be researched, that it can look it up on the web to research the answer, and it should drop it directly into the notes field for us. And so this is actually kind of a cool stack. So we've gone from like, we built an app, we then created an MCP server and a tool for it to fetch the questions, right? Now we're going to build an agent. That agent is going to have the ability to fetch the questions. We're filtering, it's going to filter down to which ones are set to be on the show. So that's right here for anyone looking. I'll go ahead and put this in the middle as well. Let's hide your guys's chats there. Any of these that I've tagged as like on deck, right? And hopefully what'll happen here is we should have some, and I actually did see some more questions come in. Oh, here we go. Some more questions came in. Gentleman Jack Burkett, a question from my dog. I am a dog and a beloved pet in the Burkett household. Do you think dogs and pets will be replaced with AI robots in the future? Do you think people will still want real pets? I want a walk and pets when you get home. Oh, I want to walk and pets. Okay. And a treat. So he wants me to give him a treat. So, I think that people will replace, I don't think they'll replace pets, but there will be like a whole new group of like AI companions, like the old Tamagotchis and stuff, but like kind of like a crazier version of that. Okay.
What is Docker?
Docker is a virtual machine system. So you can like run things in like a virtual environment. It's like a whole clone, like its own OS and its own like thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you using it?
No. So I did it created the repo. I pushed the repo to my GitHub, and then it said, would you like to create an MCP for it?
Okay.
And I said, sure. And now it's saying, we can't do that directly. You have to use either Docker or Ghost Source.
I don't know what Ghost Source is.
It says the GitHub MCP server requires either Docker or building from Ghost Source. No simple MPX option.
What were you trying to get it to do?
I don't know.
You don't know what it was
trying? It was trying to create a GitHub MCP.
Oh, create one?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, just get they have their own.
Yeah, I know.
They have their own. So I would just go like, can you go find the official GitHub MCP server and install it? You can host your crons on Docker before you test in production and databases. Yeah, so you can host like your databases and stuff on Docker.
Oh, so they don't
It's like a-
break
it's like a
it's like so
server.
they don't break anything, right?
It's
like a virtual environment?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
contained.
Contained,
It's
yeah.
contained. Yeah, and that's where I run like Claude Code sometimes in the dangerous mode. I would typically run it inside of a Docker instance
Okay.
where it's contained. It doesn't have access to all my entire system.
Correct, yeah.
You know,
It just crashes the server. Just
yeah.
not
yeah.
my
No, I mean, totally could.
computer.
It you could definitely do all that, and I'm sure there's ways for it to crawl out of there too. But
Oh, okay. It's saying that's what it was saying. It said that GitHub does have its own MCP, but to access it, you have to use Docker, supposedly.
I'm going to say, sorry, this is asking me, when you say tagged is on deck to be part of the show, do you mean featured questions, featured equals 1 or not archived? I say yes, featured questions and archive 0. Okay. So, yeah, Docker's pretty cool. And then like the way that what I host with, they support Docker. So like, it just takes that like Docker config and then puts it up in the cloud for me. Right. So whoever I'm working with locally just then works up there. So like, that's where you'd have Docker running in the cloud for you essentially.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now this put together a plan. We want a /show prep. So it's a skill that automatically researches and drafts the answers to the notes. I'm going to say, I guess it's saying, no, create this as an agent. I want a sub agent, not a new skill, although a skill would have been fine, but for the sake of this, we'll just go ahead and create this as an agent. And what's really kind of cool about sub agents is like, we've talked about this in the past, is like, you're always maintaining your context window, right? And so like, if you're talking and you want to go off and do a task, and like say you've had to go like click in my back end and do this and like update this person, all of that is then flooding into your context window, right? And like that entire thing. By using a sub agent, it just calls that sub agent like you saw before, which is that little line that's running.
Yeah.
That maintains its own separate context window. So that reduces all of that down, and it's kind of much more effective.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been doing that more. I've noticed Claude.
Doing what more?
Like it's been like calling on multiple agents.
Yeah.
Like I did something the other day and it was like
just on its
5
own?
different agents on its own.
Yeah.
It was like having an agent do this, having an agent do that, having an agent do this. And I was like, oh, bet. And it's like, I'll let you know once all the agents are done.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of newer that it could do that. So before, like I'd say spin up 10 agents, it would wait until like 10 agents were done and then kind of move on. And sometimes one agent would be like take 45 minutes and the other one's finished for 5 minutes. And it was like, what's kind of cool now, hang on, this is still not doing the plan that I want. So this is what, like, it's always really important to read this. So it's like creating a sub agent skill. No, I want an agent. Please research how to make Claude Code sub agents. Right. Yeah, I actually watched a really good talk about this too. It's like the ripple effects of like having a bad plan, like then goes into like bad code or bad whatever. It's like really important that you read through the plans. I know I'm moving very quickly because it's a little side project or whatever, but like you really want to read through what it's trying to do and correct it if it's wrong.
I do have to, like, I've had to correct it before. And that's the thing, is like we talked about, this isn't you just have to trust everything that it does.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you guys, is like I had to do a task, especially like reconciling some numbers, and it ended up being wrong. And it thought it was right. It looked right. I was like, "Oh, show me your evidence of why you were right." And it aligned because that's what it showed me, because it made sense to itself.
Yeah.
When I double checked that with somebody else, they were like, "No, that's not right." And so I came back and I was like, "Hey, I trust this person, honestly, more than I trust you. Tell me if they're wrong or right." And it came back and was like, "Oh yeah, they're right." And I said, "Well, what do we do here, bro?" And it was like, it said, I didn't double check the numbers. I just found a scenario that seemed right to me, and then I ran with it. And so I was like, okay, how do we build a memory now to where we don't do this? And it's like, okay, in the future, I will no longer give you numbers that have not been triple verified. And if I feel like it still doesn't make sense, I'll ask you to verify a few things before giving you an answer.
And so if those become like, so here's like a way to think about this. That's kind of now probably more like a loose rule in your system.
Yeah.
Because you're also not doing that work all the time.
Correct.
You're doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to take it and turn that into a skill.
Okay.
Or an agent. And again, like you could have an agent that uses that skill.
Got it.
And so like that triple verification thing will work, because otherwise you're relying on it to go check that. And it could still be kind of like, because we were talking about like one of the things that kind of happened this week was with and I haven't looked at the story yet. Just you guys were kind of mentioning.
Oh,
this,
yeah,
is
let's pull it up.
the Meta, the woman from
yeah,
Meta who did this,
yeah,
and like
Meta
she had it
exec.
look over something like, hey, clean up all my emails, but don't delete anything unless you ask me. And I think you guys said that it like had gone past that context window,
Yeah,
and she wiped her entire
yeah.
personal email
The
history.
safety director.
Safety director.
Here we go. So based on the there we go. Let's see here. This is obviously the AI thing. So in February, it was reported that OpenClaw, an open source autonomous AI agent, caused issues for a Meta executive, superintelligence safety director Summer Yu, by deleting her personal emails.
Personal. Okay.
Her personal emails.
And that was with Claude. Sorry, that was with OpenClaw.
That's with OpenClaw.
Yeah.
Yep.
OpenClaw.
And so, yeah, it says, let's see here. The agent proceed. Oh, here we go. The now viral X post from Meta. I mean, she posted it. Like it said at first, it looked like satire. She told her OpenClaw AI agent to check her overstuffed email inbox and suggest what to delete or archive.
Mhm.
The agent proceeded to run amok. It started deleting all her emails in a speed run while ignoring her commands from her phone telling it to stop.
Yeah.
I had to run to my Mac Mini like I was defusing a bomb, she wrote, posting images of the ignored stop prompts as receipts.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've had issues where like the like I said, some of these tools that we're using like are aired out, like they're not responding. I'm clicking stop, and it's not stopping.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, that can be very, very scary for sure.
That's how
And it's again, this ladders of like, why the fuck do we want this as an autonomous weapons machine when we can't even trust it with our emails? Like, not great. I think there's a couple of questions also along this.
on Docker before you test in production and database. Oh, okay.
So a couple of quick things. I'm gonna actually go ahead and add these to add to show because these were questions that were asked. But I wanted to go back. So some of these things I had in here. My wife was asking this yesterday. She's like, what are hallucinations in AI? Will they ever get rid of it? If AI has these problems, why do you think it will replace our jobs? Do you think we'll ever be able to trust it? So like, first off, I guess to address like, what is a hallucination, right? It is a, oh, look, it's actually looking at show prep. So this is, sorry, it's running our agent right now. Show prep research. And it's actually, don't think running our show prep agent. It's running this agent. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and stop this because oftentimes when I build an agent, it doesn't become visible until I don't see that agent in here.
So from my understanding, a hallucination is when they're pretty much the AI is trying to process so much data that it starts just like coming up with its own to like give you an answer.
It's more like, I think it's kind of like going back to like the fundamentals of what these things are. And they're like pattern recognition and prediction engines. So like it's going to, from the pattern of everything it's seen, like what is the most likely next thing that should be coming from this? So like oftentimes what was used was like court cases. And it's like, what is a court, like help me find precedent on this or whatever. And it's like in its mind going like, this is what this would look like if it was real, right? Correct. Like we have to do a lot more to make sure that it doesn't just like generate something we'd call like slop or like not real. And it just like, if that gets brought in, it depends on like where the hallucination happens and what part of your process, that can ripple throughout everything. So it could be like,
let's think about, good example is remember when you guys we were trying to create the agents to like pull emails and then like aggregate them. And remember it was like saying the emails were from 2014. It's like, but it was from someone that like, I had received an email from recently. So it was almost like blending like real versus like, I'm just throwing in this like rando.
Yeah. It's just making something up that isn't real, but believing it. And humans make mistakes all the time. Like you ask someone for directions and they go there or go left, like that's, and they say it very confidently.
Yeah, but it's actually
believe
right
it.
to left.
Yeah, it's like it was actually over here. Like it was actually the complete opposite end of town. Like that doesn't even exist. Like that happens all the time. It's like kind of a flaw with humans. And we have the same thing. And the question is like, will we ever get rid of it? I believe so. I mean, we're getting to point where you can see like hallucinations drop by like, okay, say these are 80% accurate. Okay, now you do it this way.
It's
Now
like
it's
90,
90%,
yeah.
95%. It's like 90. And so you have this like point where like you're getting these gains back. And will it ever get to like 100%? You know,
I mean, people aren't even.
no, but I think we will get to 100%. It's going to take a lot more like usage of the agents. Like there's a thing called an LLM as a judge.
Yeah.
And you can have like an LLM, another LLM, it may maybe a suite of LLMs, like say 3 of them that are reviewing the output of one to make sure that it's not hallucinating. And those 3 have to agree. But like now we're talking about
The
like
Minority Report shit.
Yeah. One of the guys who's listening to the show in Vibe Codes with us, he built like a whole like agentic tribunal. So he has like his wife runs a nanny agency.
Oh,
it was like
yeah,
to
yeah.
assign like a nanny to somebody. It was like, okay, we need to go through. We're gonna have a discussion about who's the next person who'd be the best fit, and then we all have to agree, and then we have to vote on it. And it was like,
Yeah.
we always make fun of them because it's like, oh, they had to have like family and kids in there, and then you know somebody had to be
Let
like
me see
sent
your
off
credit
to be
report.
slaughtered. If they were wrong. Yeah, all this crazy stuff, like just to be able to choose a nanny. But like you can get that complicated. And I think that those are the systems as we grow this that will be required to get to that like
Yeah.
full trustworthiness. You know, we're
Mhm.
like it's more like the chances of it happening are so low. Not that
Yeah.
it's like completely gone, but like you'd have to validate past this many checks to like have a hallucination like survive.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we're really starting to figure out how to do this stuff the right way.
Yeah.
But then the question is like, why do I believe it can take away jobs if we're not that far yet? Is like, how accurate are humans? You just need to be more accurate than that, right? And then you
And
also
more accessible.
What do you mean?
So like for me, I'll give you an example. Is like we had a virtual assistant because as you know, we provide virtual assistants to like businesses and so we were, you know, we also use them. And so we had a virtual assistant who he was doing like an okay job. I mean, he honestly just wasn't doing that good of a job. And so that being said, like we were already like, hey man, here's your like 2 weeks. Like we appreciate your efforts, but like it's just not going to work out. Within those 2 weeks, you cooked me up with Claude. Everything that he was doing, I literally did myself. Just having Claude do it. And like it reviewed all the stuff that he did and was like, this wasn't the way it should have been done. And then like did it better.
Right.
And I did that over a weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't have to bother anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't have to message my, you know, I didn't have to like stress my team out by like having them dump a whole bunch of stuff on Monday. And granted, like as the CEO, the goal is not for me to be in Claude all the time, but once I have a better understanding of how to use it, I train my team members on how to use it. And now they're using it to be more effective. And like, I've already shown them some of the things I'm able to produce. And they're like, dude, like, we can't wait for you to like provide this and then show us because it's just like, but it's all, we can do all that without adding anybody to our team and creating more. Like I'd rather pay $200 for a Claude membership than a minimum of, you know, $500 for an employee.
For like you say, like a VA.
For a VA, for virtual assistant, not for like an in-person employee, obviously.
But still, so the accessibility, you're saying like you can bother somebody, you don't have to wait for a response. It's like immediate for you. It does the job.
And I could tell it was wrong. And it like Dongo were like hurting its feelings, or like I'd be like, hey,
let's review your work here.
I didn't like that. I don't have to be like, hey, so this was a great first effort, but like this was just different direction.
The fuck you sandwich.
The shit
Here's
sandwich.
What's wrong.
I don't gotta give shit sandwiches. I can just be like, I didn't like that. Fucking fix it, bro.
Yeah. And I've thought like this is the worst thing I've ever seen. This is like act like you've done this before, you know, and like I've had people review my chats and like they're coming for you first. Like, no, they're not.
So my friend said,
didn't need to work.
She said, bro, I'm sitting here watching and I feel like you're not even talking English when you start talking about all the background stuff.
Well, look what we were able to do in this downtime. I actually now pulled this up and it's now answered all of the questions that we had flagged for the show.
That's cool.
Right. So, you know, I mean, some pretty long-winded ones. So
it added it to the notes.
It added notes. Yeah, because I already had a notes thing. So I was just like, go ahead and just add it to the notes. Right. Like my thinking behind this is like, hey, maybe AI does a first pass at an answer for me and I can look at what the answer is and then I could make it like do something else. Right.
Yeah.
So let's just go down to like some of these here. So we talked about Anthropic earlier. Here's its take. This is a fresh off the press story. It literally happened days ago. Here's the short version. The Pentagon gave Anthropic a $200 million contract in mid 2025. Then the Defense Department demanded that Anthropic remove all usage restrictions on Claude, specifically rules preventing Claude from being used for autonomous weapons and mass surveillance of Americans. Dario Amodei said no. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave him a deadline of 5:01 p.m. on February 27th. Dario still said no. Trump then banned all federal agencies from using Anthropic products. Hegseth designated Anthropic a supply chain risk to national security, which blocks military contractors from working with them. Within hours, OpenAI swooped in and announced a Pentagon deal.
Ooh, even the AI said swoop.
Yeah. So did Dario bungle it? Depends on your values. Financially, Amodei says Anthropic's valuation and revenue have actually grown since the standoff. They're planning to challenge the designation in court and are still on track for an IPO. On the ethics side, he drew a line and held it. No autonomous kill decisions, no surveillance of Americans. OpenAI, interestingly reported, kept the same safeguards in the deal, just didn't make it a public fight. Hot take. Here's the Dario may have lost the contract, but won the narrative. In the world where AI safety company is brand, getting publicly banned by the Pentagon for refusing to build killer robots is not the worst look.
Honestly, I told Net straight up. I said I lock in with Anthropic because of that decision. Like as much as I love it, I agree. Like so no, I can personally, from my personal experience, I can say that actually did make me trust them more because, like they just said, like you had a principle and you stood on it, and I appreciate that you stood on it.
Yeah.
Because in a world where like not a lot of people stand on principles anymore, like I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's good for brand to be like, we're not the ones building killer robots.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
I did see that there was also people going around. It always happens for everything, but like people were like, "You're now funding a war machine with OpenAI, and like you cancel your accounts." And it was like screenshot.
I mean, everything's funding them. The war machine, man. For all you that don't think that in some form or fashion we're all supporting it, it just is what it is. So one of the things, as far as like, I forgot why I was going to talk about this. Oh, so Glenn said, I noticed that your Claude is using cooking terms for the loading message. What's up? Oh, it just does that.
Yeah.
It just says funny stuff because it's just like, it's literally just like, yeah, it just, I mean, I asked him that same thing, Darren. I was like, what's up with, why is it saying that? It'll say like canoodling.
Yep. It'll say like,
fluxating.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of random messages that it's producing for us there. I'm sure it's actually probably like either pulling from a list of like funny words,
probably,
or one thing you could do is have like a really small model that's just sitting there coming up with words and whatever. But
so I was gonna say, like, as far as creating processes where it really like streamlines things, I'm not gonna show it because I don't want to show people like my business files, but one of the things I did was like we use Plods, which is Plod and Claude, which is the transcript tool. Yeah, so we use Plods to help in conversations, right? And so Plod has been a great tool for us. We
sits on the back of your phone. It's a physical device.
It's a physical transcription device. Yes. And the cool thing that I like about it is that not only does it transcribe it, but you can actually set up personal transcription methods of how you want it to transcribe. Plus, it does a mind map, and I like the mind map because you can click and kind of see how you want it. But anyways, obviously the problem is I have to now take that stuff off of Plod to then like, but I want to put it in like my client's file in our CRM.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I want to do this. And Claude walked me all the way through it. And so like, and it fixes itself, right? Like initially it was like, you need an API, but to have an API for Plod, you have to have a developer account. And so I was like, well, research that. And then it researched and it was like, never mind. Zapier has an integration with Plod. So I can just take your conversations, put it into a Google folder that I can now pull every morning.
Yeah.
And then
from Zapier.
So now I have a tool. And then I said, well, don't stop there. I also use Notion meeting notes, which you already have an API connection to. Okay. So every morning at 8 a.m., I want you to pull any new conversations and transcribe it, pull out the key points, pull out any action items, and then add it to their file in high level.
Cool.
And now it does that.
How is it working? Like the outputs of that?
So I'll show you.
Okay.
It's actually working exceptionally well.
Okay.
Now, barring the only requirement though is that Plod's easier because Plod picks up people's names and adds it to their stuff, whereas Notion meetings is like it's a little finicky sometimes because that's not its main function, right? Like it's just an addition that they wanted to give you just like
Yeah.
anyone else.
Okay.
But as long as on the Notion meeting, I at least put like their name, it'll work. It'll like pull it.
So some caveats. Yeah, which again, like, I mean, you could really build your own little, because Notion is just software, right? The difference with Plod is that you've got a hardware. I'm talking about you got a hardware device, right? You're not going to be able to replicate that, but you could build your own like AI note taking device or whatever.
Correct.
Which is kind of cool. So I can read through another
Why
question
am I
while you're
offline now? Yeah. Go ahead and do that. It's like
so for another question here. So my wife and I were driving home yesterday, and we passed by over here. We have Six Flags. We went past it. My wife asked, "How would AI help with roller coasters?" I was like, "Okay." And I kind of gave her a little bit of an answer. I was like, "I'll just put it in the show." So here's what AI just came back with and told us. So more than you think, AI is quietly reshaping roller coasters from concept to daily operation. On the design side, tools like Coaster AI train thousands of existing coaster blueprints and run millions of simulations to generate track layouts optimized for G-forces, thrill factor, and ride safety, going beyond what human engineers would intuitively try. Disney has been particularly aggressive here, using AI across its parks for everything from crowd flow modeling to personalized ride experiences. On the safety side, a company called DMT just launched the world's first AI real-time monitoring system for amusement parks called the DMT Ride Guard. It watches sensor data continuously and flags anomalies before they become failures. Industry stats back this up. 45% of theme parks using AI monitoring report a 20% reduction in safety incidents, and automated inspection scheduling has cut human error in safety checks by 25%. So fun angle, the global theme park industry is expected to nearly double from 56 billion in 2024 to 125 billion in 2032, and AI is a huge driver. Universal has already been testing AI systems to manage ride operations and reduce staffing. So it's getting rid of humans, I guess. So the AI is not just designing coasters; it might be running them. Okay, how do we feel, chat, about getting into a roller coaster that was designed by AI, run by AI,
built by AI,
built by robotics? Yeah, sure. I mean, would you get in that? I mean, I get in the Waymo, but like,
that is true. You get in the Waymo.
Yeah. Proactive question for the hosts is: if AI is designing and monitoring the ride and something goes wrong, who's liable? The park, the AI vendor, or the engineer who signed off on AI's output?
I feel like that's like the next place this is all kind of going.
I mean, I guess you kind of have to go through that whole process. Like, where did you mess up?
Yeah.
Darren, if Darren's still listening, would you get on into an AI designed roller coaster right now?
If you see Darren said,
would you be the first? Here's a question. I mean, would you be the first one on that ride, or would you be like, the 10,000th person after you've kind of vetted it? Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no.
No? Yeah, I generally am not the first. As much as I love all the technology, I'm definitely not the first. JC, would you go on an AI designed roller coaster? Yeah. He says yes. First, you be the first one? First one.
Yeah, you
in front. Oh, he wants the payout for the insurance money.
What it is? What is it? What are you? 23, right?
20.
Yeah, 20. Oh, 19. What it is to be 19 years old.
Yeah. I would survive, but if it crashed, I would survive it. You think how you'd survive? Takes your head off. Yeah. Do you have your thing ready to show?
So funny enough, all of a sudden my internet, like my computer's like, we're not connected to the network.
Oh,
so
shit. Okay.
I'm gonna restart it.
Okay.
It says it's connected, but it says I don't have internet, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but what's cool here, Darren says no, so Darren ain't getting on the roller coaster. It's probably the right move right now.
Agreed.
Well,
it's because he's on his dad's account.
It's Glenn. I think Glenn's typing for him.
Yeah. So
Tyrone says absolutely not. Right. Tyrone.
Darren is Glenn's son.
Tyrone says no, he's not getting on. But in our group, Tyrone's already usually spinning up AI things before I finished explaining what it even is and the dangers of it. So I believe Tyrone would get on that. Yeah.
What are we talking about right now?
The AI roller coaster. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I'm gonna definitely get on that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's pretty cool. So what we built, in the last episode was just a place to drop questions in, and now we have agents coming in and connecting and answering the questions
Correct.
for us on a first go around.
Yeah.
And I was able to add features here. Even right before this went live, I added like a drag and drop little, like I can drag these. It's probably going to be weird now with this whole huge thing, but I can drag those in order. So this is all stuff that was built
dope.
using AI. And then say we've now answered a question, we answered Brian Jones's question here. So I can go ahead and archive that. And now it should be down in our archive of things that we have answered. Go ahead and delete that JC's little test email there. So, so going back to kind of the task at hand here, I built a tool, I built a skill for that tool, and then I built an agent for that tool. So now I can, anytime, and you could automate that thing. I could have this thing as a trigger somewhere that every time a question comes in, the agent picks it up first and then produces that first response, you know, which can be kind of a cool approach. And that's really where I see a lot of the power of these agents. And the way that you want to think about an agent is that you give this thing a task and it figures out how to do it. The skill is like that recipe, this is how you do this task, but an agent's going to think about it a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to try to navigate through that, where the skill will just follow those steps. It's really still an agent kind of following those skills, but now you have reusability. I could build other agents that tap into that skill or that tool.
All right, we're back online. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was
Yeah.
Keep talking.
No, yeah. So that was kind of the power behind. You asked about agents and stuff.
No, that helped a lot, because in my mind, I was at when I was talking to Chaz, right? I was like, oh, bro, agents are a thing because that's where my mind is at. I remember when ChatGPT came out with the agent builder, and you were like, oh, did you get into it? And I was like, no, because I feel like it's complicated to me, nodes and NNN was cool and all until it just got overly complicated, and I was like, I can't do this shit. No way. And so, speaking of Darren he built a recipe finder. So it was it was sending him there, and then he also built it to it was sending us all notes every day, to our emails. I think some of them were Star Wars, other things were just hey, today's a great day to have a great day. We would just get that in our email, for during his trial period.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, but at the end of the day, I was like, I don't have time to sit here and spend 15 hours on the node.
Yeah.
And I think, and now we've reached a point where it's oh no, we were talking about, it actually does stuff now.
Yeah.
In the moment, and it doesn't take an exorbitant amount of time. And then you add the other tools like Jump Desktop and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I don't think that those tools Zapier and N8N and those still have a place.
I agree.
Because those are automations that you want. I would call those deterministic automations, where what's going to happen from that every single time, rather than as an agent runs. It's a completely fresh take on what it's going to do and how
should I do this, should I not do this,
or if it's working through a project, did it find that one particular file, versus you can with N8N or Zapier, you can be much more prescriptive with it, right? It goes to this, goes to this, goes to this.
So I had a meeting the other day, and then this it pulled this from from Notion.
Right.
So you see,
so we're looking at Cam's his own backend. I know he doesn't want to share on stream since of client information and stuff.
But yeah, see,
why does it say fuck that guy?
No, yeah. Sorry. But yeah, so Bill, what's it, and there were multiple people on this call.
Yeah.
So I put everyone who was on the call, and it added these notes.
That came from Plot, or that came from?
This came from Notion meetings.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, but this one, I'm trying to think, where did I have my Claude? My plot, excuse me. Here we go. I had one for. This is the one I had.
I think this is actually a great lead-in for maybe the last question of the day.
So this was from Plod. So it pulled it from Plod, put it in a Google Notes. Claude read it, and then using an API. It didn't even need an MCP. It did all this on the back end.
Yeah.
Updated his file with all the notes from the stuff that we did.
Yeah. So what happens there? It's it's because you don't have it set up as an MCP. It's not a reusable code. It has to generate that API call every single time and know about it. versus as an MCP server, it's like it basically has a tool name.
Mhm.
It's like as MCP server like lists out a tool directory.
So is that why I keep getting like, even though I know I've set up API keys,
Yes.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's not working.
Yes.
And I have to like refeed it that same API.
Yeah, I mean, with an MCP tool, there's like a whole directory of the tools.
Yeah.
So like your Claude code in that like system prompt that comes in above it will be like, you have these tools. Here's how to call
Correct,
them, right?
yeah.
And so then it's supposed to use. You do want to keep your tools like how many tools you have in there, because I have like on one project I have like 3,000, which is way more than you should ever have. You really only want to have like about, I think it's like the max like 20-ish right now for tools.
It's 1,000.
3,000. But that's what I've done is something different, which is I allow it to have a tool search function.
I remember you
So it
saying
can
that, yeah.
search for those tools rather than it all just populating. So it searches like, what tools are available? Okay, this is what I use.
Yeah, for this type of task, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember you guys talking about that.
And then I have like more of like a general like thing of like search for these kinds of tools, you know,
Yeah.
and start there. But yeah, reusable tools, like every time it knows that it has that tool, let me use that tool, right? Let me call that in as a tool use, right? For this
Mhm.
task. Hey, I've got this task. Cameron's asking me to do this. Oh, I have a tool that does that for me. I'm going to invoke that tool versus you probably have to say like, go get the API thing set up. And I don't even know where that, I'd have to like dive in deeper in your
Well,
machine.
now
to
it
figure out
just
where
now
lives.
it just it's set on a timer.
Oh,
So every day
you
at
set up a
every
script,
day
yeah.
at 8 a.m.
Mhm.
it does that. It runs through that process.
Right.
And I'm guessing it has a markdown file that has like that process, right?
Possibly, yeah. We
And
could dive
so-
into like
because
how
I
that's set
haven't
up.
created like a
Yeah.
skill for it per
Yeah.
se. It's
Yeah.
just like
So
I
this is,
did-
like in this situation, if you don't know what it is, like typically I would sit with somebody and like we're always on screen share and stuff at night, and I'd be like ask your agent like, how is this built? Like let's figure this out ourselves.
Okay.
And then like know a little bit more concretely about what it's
Mhm.
doing, because then you can also find the gaps in your process. And
Yeah.
like I can also help as a software developer be like, try this, do this. Like this is a better way to do that. You're gonna have
Yeah.
more consistency with this whole thing. But yeah, that stuff it's incredibly powerful, and you could hook agents into that process, right? So you have a very like do the script, pull this in, but you could then do additional things like if there was something that was mentioned, or like say you have a new onboarded client or something, like go do research on them, go do
So
research
one of the
on
things-
their industry.
So one of the things it did, I haven't tested it.
Okay.
But one of the things that is like we're building up to is that like if I do a discovery call with a client,
Uh-huh.
it'll read it, put
Uh-huh.
it into their file. If
Mhm.
we discussed a proposal being sent over, it will then build that proposal and then send it to me to review. And then once I accept it, it sends it to the client automatically
Mhm.
based off of our discussion.
Yeah, and I think probably the human in the loop there is that you should probably see what is actually.
Yeah, well, you got to see it, and you got to make sure what it says on it, and then
Oh, Darren says this is actually Darren typing.
Yeah.
My dad has let him use his
I
account.
know it's you, Darren. I'm just saying, but you don't have your own account, bro.
Darren, ask a question, dude.
Yeah, ask what's up. Oh, so I saw Darren yesterday. So
Yeah.
yesterday was Glenn's oldest son's last basketball game.
Okay.
He's about to graduate from college at Dominican, and so we were all out in San Rafael for that.
Cool.
And Darren walks up to me and he said, "Hey, Mr. Cam." I said, "What's up, Darren?" He said, "So high level,
Mhm.
what's up?" Because he wants to play with it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, like I know you want to play with it, but I can't just give you access to client data." And he was like, "I know I can get dummy data. You can get it off this website." And I was like,
Mm.
"Well, I know you can." I said, "But I'm gonna be real with you, Darren. Like my AI can kind of do all this stuff now. So now we
Mm.
got to rethink
Yeah.
where we can have you help. Because realistically, maybe it's we arm you with this stuff so you can help us build
Mhm.
stuff with. But I don't want you to go down this rabbit hole of learning high level when in retrospect you don't necessarily have to.
Right.
You need to know what it needs to produce.
Yes.
But you don't have to know the 10,000 steps that lead up to it. You just
Yeah.
need to know how to function check it.
Yeah. And actually, that's one of the questions that we got earlier. I'm going to pull that up right here. Is a very similar question.
This is our last
Last
3
question
minutes,
here.
guys.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read this summarized thing because I summarized it so it'll be a little smaller of a question. So in a world where AI tools dramatically reduce the cost and time required to build and refactor software, how should we decide when to build custom solutions versus adopting an off-the-shelf product, especially when both paths appear reversible in the short term, right? So what and the message that he sent through, if you want to read it in here, it was like, hey, I can like dig myself into a hole and dig myself out of it, and like, maybe I lose a day, but that's not like I'm losing a month before.
Yeah,
I'm
losing a
losing
month,
like way
yeah.
more. So how should I approach this? What should I use off the shelf? And my answer to that would be, you need to weigh it against cost. So how much is it going to cost you to
Yeah.
run this tool?
Yeah.
So for example, say you're looking at like an email marketing tool like MailChimp. Okay. I've been replaced by AI. It's an AI apocalypse from Darren. Yes, you have. I asked people for some questions for the show, and a lot of them said, I just ask AI for questions, so you've been replaced. So don't worry, Darren. I've been replaced too.
They said that in the group chat.
So I look at costs for a product. I look at the complexity of that product, and I look at the control I have over that product.
Okay,
So
yeah,
like
if they were just take it away, would all your data go with it?
well, also
Or-
just like how can I customize this? How can I do what I want it to
Want
do?
to do,
Where are the
yeah.
limitations where I'm going to basically, I can use this for a little bit, but then I'm gonna hit a wall. And like, I feel like
Yeah.
all software has kind of existed in this state where you can kind of use it, but then it gets to a point where like, it can't do exactly what I wanted, but I'll kind of work with it because it does 90% of what I want, but not that last 10%.
Correct.
So the question is like, how vital is that last 10%?
Yeah.
And then I would look at like kind of the next layer off of that is like, how important is this to my business or like what I'm doing? Like,
Yeah.
is this an incredibly vital part of my entire business? Then I probably want to own that stack. Like I
Yeah.
want to have full control over that. And typically in the past, we would say like, no, right?
Yeah.
Like take off the shelf stuff. It's going to be tested, you're going to have to deal with stuff. But now I would say, you can build stuff relatively quickly. So assess it through those things. Like, is this going to cost a lot of money for me to run this thing? It's like, okay, this is now $10 a month per person, and I have like 1,000 people in my team, or I want to roll to 1,000 people. So it's like, do the math on that. If if it's too complex for you to like take on by yourself, like maybe you have to eat that cost still and still
Yeah.
use it and connect to it. But like, it can also just be like that control factor. Like I don't have control over the things that I really care about, and this is super vital to me. So I'm
Yeah.
going to sit back. I will build that out, And I think that like right now, you want to own you want to own your own like business systems. Notion is great, and others are great. Go High Level you use for other things. I kind of think that those are the stacks that you want to own, but until you do even get around to doing that
Yeah.
yourself, you can still use those
Yeah.
to what they can get to, and then come back and replace them later.
Yeah.
So it's really your judgment call.
Well, I think
but-
it's cool to like, and we talked about this, is like you build like, which I just learned recently was like the wrapper,
Mhm.
which is like you start building tools around those main things so
Mhm.
that you can start almost like figure out the customization that you
Mhm.
want.
Mhm.
And then I personally, now that like with all this, is like in tandem, you build out your own solution,
Mhm.
because then you don't have to completely rely on it right away. And you can almost like, you can function test it as
Mhm.
you're like, okay, well, the tool I have now does this. So I need to make sure my tool that I built can also, because I like the way that one works, I want
Mhm.
this one to work the exact same way. And then,
Yeah.
and then once you have enough functionality to where it's like, okay, I'm rocking, 75, 70%, whatever, or higher, whoever you are.
Mhm.
Like now I can go over, and then like now it's mine. And
Yeah.
I can just like build it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a quick example too. Somebody on our team was working with a client. We're trying to get access to Acuity, which is a scheduling platform,
Yep.
right? They
I
were
used to
using
use it, no longer use it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've tried to build with it before. I hate it myself. But anyways, our client was using it, and we were asking for access.
Yeah.
It took like 2 days. Like we had time zone differences, and we weren't getting a response. So then what he did is like, just go read what complexity does, and just like, or sorry, what Acuity does, and then just clone that for me. And so then 2 days later, I check with him like, hey, how's it going? Did you get access? He's like, no, I don't need it anymore. I just cloned it. He can actually now stop paying for that subscription completely. I just built it into his app. Right.
Correct.
And it was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe he saved them in the beginning $100 or $200 a month, but like, I don't know. It's like a cost that goes away completely.
Yeah.
And we, in the tech world, a lot of us see like everyone's going to need their own servers.
Correct.
I think your own home server and your own cloud server. And that's how this is going to start to take shape, because once you have that set up and running, like you have your own cron jobs that are running now, but like you have that up in the cloud, and that would be even more efficient for you.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'll get you to that point too.
You'd be proud of me. I learned, I signed up for something Fly, like a
Fly.io.
Not Fly.io. I need to do Fly.io because that's the one you guys use.
Mm.
I'll tell my Netlify.
Netlify.
Netlify. I don't know. That's what Claude did. But
that's a hosting platform for like static sites and stuff.
Yeah. So I did it for those like dashboards that I did. But like you guys taught me is I'm like push it to Netlify, and
Mhm.
now it just does it, right?
Yeah.
So like what the next thing is obviously then to get on net.io.
Yeah. So the only problem with Netfly is it's a hosted like flat server. Like there's no like processing that can happen there. It's just
Correct.
a host.
It's just a host, yeah.
Just a host.
Because then,
yeah.
it told me to do Firebase.
Yeah. So then you got a different server. That's why it's like we put everything under one.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I can actually do the processing. That's why I've switched over to Fly.
Okay.
Fly.io is if anyone's watching. I don't have like
let's
a
show them that real
coupon
quick.
code for this, but this is the server service that I'm using.
We're finally showing something to you. This is the one you don't have a coupon code for.
No, I know. Wait until I get a coupon code. Do they even have that? I don't know.
Probably.
But yeah, you can just spin up any server you want, and it's
So
really
this will do
fast.
everything that Netlify and Firebase does, but on one farm.
Well, it's you kind of have to build your own like thing, right?
Okay.
So like I would have built my own server locally, and like this is where we deploy up to that, right?
Okay.
But like, so you build your own thing using Docker,
Yeah.
right? So you've got your own Docker server
Okay.
running on your machine, and you go, okay, now I'm ready to push this up to Fly.
Yeah.
You just basically think of it like taking a clone of that, putting it up in the cloud. It'll do some settings for you and whatever, and then it's just now working up in the cloud for you. So if you wanted to, for example, you have a form, like a contact form, that has to be processed somewhere, and then people will use other things like edge services and stuff like whatever. But I feel like it's just way easier just to have like everything under one thing. So like this server will then process your form for you. So like that's what we've done for Scalawag.fm. If you go here, so it's on Fly. When I submit this form, it's going to a server. The back end of on Fly that that was built for us. So let me be even a way to even just like say like, so I'm in here. Can you explain how the form is processed on Fly .io based on our setup, right? And so I don't know. We built this with like kind of flying by the seat of our pants here, but built something working in a couple of prompts. So it's now just going to trace the flow for me, and it's going to see how the form submission happens. Tell us like hopefully like what server is up and running for that. But like that's the base. Like anytime you build a website, I always feel like you need a contact form. And then a lot of people go out and like they will sign up for something like Typeform or any number of these other like third party like form providers that people like embed on their site.
Form.
Yeah, whatever.
Panda.
Yeah, you drop them on your website. It can be embedded into it, and then it's like it's going to their servers and processing. Mm-hmm. It's like why do I have to get my data's going somewhere else?
Correct.
And it can just all be done from one spot. Hosting your front end, your back end, all that kind of stuff. And I think we're done here with our research that took 46 seconds to research 44,000 tokens.
So I was telling Darren how I have we have like the max plans.
Mm-hmm.
There's how many tokens do you get? I was like, I don't know. I just know it's a lot. It's like millions upon millions.
It is. Yeah. It's billed at the millions of tokens.
Yeah.
So we can see here, this is how it's done.
Probably billions at this point.
Yeah. Browser. So user fills out a question form, which is a React client component. It uses this to bind to the form, blah, blah. Server action. Here you go. So next.js receives the form data, extracts the form fields into a plain object, validates it that they're correct. If invalid, returns field errors. If valid, it goes ahead and creates it and saves it as a database. We're built on Prisma and SQLite, which is a very, very, very lightweight database. It's not really even a real database, but it works for what we need it for right now. After saving, it fires off a notification. So I set up SendGrid. So it'll send an email to us. It will return a response if it worked. And then on Fly, we've got Docker 3-stage build. So you don't really actually need to worry about that. There's a Scalawag data thing that it set up, and it has a startup script that runs and migrates. So like sets up all the stuff automatically, and the machines auto stop when idle and auto start on incoming requests. So I don't know that I'm paying for this one yet. I think it's just on the free version, which basically means like the server itself will shut off if it's not being used. So if you want a cron that's always on, you're going to pay for that. I mean, it's like $2 a month.
That's always on.
Yeah. Wouldn't make sense to have a cron that's not on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for really cheap, like spin up things. So sometimes if this site hasn't been hit within an hour, it might be slow that first time you hit it again because the server's turning on.
It's like turning back on.
Yeah. That's how you save like resources.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it's done.
All right. Well, that was a good endpoint. It was
Cool.
we got a lot done today.
Yeah.
You're welcome, people. So first thing, once again, the Elevare Global Elevate Experience, March 26th, 27th. Brian will be one of our main speakers. So you want to be in the room because he's going to be in the flesh talking about so much of this stuff. Okay. Number two, now that we have this site up, you guys can go there now and you can submit your questions and we will answer your questions on air. As fast as we can, per se, right? And that's the whole goal. And can you tell them what site to go to?
Scallywag.fm.
So Scallywag, and we'll actually, now that we got like kind of our links organized, I'll make sure that I add it to like the show description. So it'll always be in there from now on, guys. So
I'll also set it up so that we can, for live, if they go scallywag.fm, they can maybe click through to the links to the shows.
Yes. Yeah. So they can go. Yeah, we can do that. We'll set it up.
We'll just keep adding to this thing as we go.
We'll just keep adding as we go. And so the goal of this, you guys, we really want to provide information and like become a central resource for you guys to like build this into your business. Or if at the end of the thing, you just, you listen to a little bit of gibberish and hopefully it's fun.
Hopefully it sinks in.
But other than that, we will be live again Wednesday night at 6 p.m. You guys will start seeing the events. You should have already seen it today, but you'll see them on like Facebook. You'll see them on YouTube. JC, when I schedule this, does it also schedule it on Twitch? Like, does it put like a thing that says they're going live again on Twitch? Okay, so Twitch, you'll see it on there if you're watching on there. LinkedIn, same thing. And yeah, I mean, what else you got?
See you on Wednesday, man.
We'll see you guys on Wednesday.